Welcome back to English 4.0, the radio show. Let's go! Intermediate. Hello, intermediate students. All right, and welcome to class 49. How are you doing today? Are you doing all right? I'm doing pretty good, thank you very much. I'm just fine, and I'm ready to start with a little review of what we were looking at yesterday. Yesterday I said that there are more people in, are there more people in Aranjuez than in Toledo? No. I think there are more people in Toledo than in Aranjuez. I'm not sure. I suppose there are more people in Toledo than in Aranjuez. Yes, that's right. There are more people in Toledo than in Aranjuez. Sure, that's what we're going to go with. Are there more houses in China than in Spain? Yes, there are more houses in China than in Spain. Are there more knives in Albacete than in Segovia? Yes, there are more knives in Albacete than in Segovia. Are there more people in France than in Spain? Yes, there are more people in France than in Spain. Are there more snowstorms, tormentas de nieve, in Canada than in Iraq? Claro, yes, there are more snowstorms in Canada than in Iraq. Are there more stadiums in Madrid than in Segovia? Football stadiums, for example. Yes, Kyle, there are more stadiums in Madrid than in Segovia. Are there more trees in Spain than in Canada? No, there aren't more trees in Spain than in Canada. There are more trees in Canada than in Spain. But there are more olive trees, olivos. There are more olive trees, olive trees in Spain than Canada. There are more olive trees in Spain than in France. There are more olive trees in Spain than in Russia, for example. Are there more cars in Extremadura than in Madrid? No, there aren't more cars in Extremadura than in Madrid. There are more cars in Madrid than in Extremadura. Okay? There aren't as many cars in Extremadura as in Madrid. There are fewer, hay menos. There are fewer cars in Extremadura than in Madrid. Are there fewer football players in the world than baseball players? No. There aren't fewer football players in the world than baseball players. There are more football players in the world than there are baseball players. There are fewer baseball players than there are football players. Are there fewer people in Andorra than in China? Yes, there are fewer people in Andorra than in China. There are more people in China than in Andorra. There are fewer people in Andorra than in China. There are fewer trees in Spain than in Russia. There are more trees in Russia than in Spain. There are more Eskimos in Alaska than in Hawaii. Definitely. There are more Eskimos in Alaska than in Hawaii. There are not as many Eskimos in Hawaii as in Alaska. There are fewer Eskimos in Hawaii than in Alaska. There are more Eskimos in Alaska than in Hawaii. Okay? So we have more than and fewer. More than and fewer. Okay? We have not as many. Not as many. There are not as many Eskimos in Hawaii as. Not as many Eskimos in Hawaii as in Alaska. There are not as many cars in Aranjuez as in Madrid. There are fewer cars in Aranjuez than in Madrid. Okay? There are fewer than. There are not as many as. There are more than. There are more people in Madrid than in Barcelona. Okay? Very good. Word of the day. Yes, it's time for the word of the day. The word of the day today is marioneta. Puppet. 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 I like this. Puppet. Puppet. P-U-P-P-E-T. Puppet. Puppet. Puppet, puppet, puppet. Marioneta. Puppet. All right. So a puppet. You can go to a puppet show. I was in the Retiro Park a few weeks ago, and I saw a man with puppets. He had a puppet show. He had the puppets performing. He was behind a box, and he had the puppets appearing above, and they were performing. They were acting out a little story, and it was actually quite funny. Puppets. So a puppet show. Puppet. P-U-P-P-E-T. Marioneta. Puppet. Now, not poopit, but puppet. Puppet. Just like puppy. A baby dog is a puppy. 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 We have the same sound, puppy, and then puppet. Okay? All right. Now we can talk about the verb to bring, que es traer. Okay, suele confundir muchas veces con llevar. En inglés, que en inglés digamos to take. But in this case, to bring. Traer is to bring, okay? So to bring, I bring something with me. I always bring my books with me to the studio. To bring, okay? I bring my books with me. I bring a pen with me. I bring a lot of things. I bring extra materials. I bring my translation lists to the studio. I bring a lot of things with me that I need for this show. Now, it's important to think about and to know the pronunciation here. Pronunciation! What? Yes, the pronunciation of to bring, and in the past, brought, because we have a lot of letters, B, R, O, U, G, H, T, brought. So we say brought. We don't try to pronounce all those letters. So sometimes with pronunciation, rather than learning new sounds, because there is no new sound in this word, brought. These are sounds that you know. But what you have to do, and this is true very often with pronunciation, is you have to, instead of learning new sounds, you have to try to forget old rules and the Spanish rules that you apply and the Spanish rules that tell you you have to pronounce every vowel. But no, in English, that's not necessary. We have B-R-O-U-G-H-T, but you can't say broke. No. Brought. So the pronunciation here, these words rhyme. We have these, and I say these words because we have brought. Today I bring, yesterday I brought. Today, every day I buy, yesterday I bought. Every day I teach, yesterday I taught. So we have these words, brought, bought, and taught, right? We also have caught and thought, okay? For example, caught. I caught a cold. I caught a baseball. Caught, okay? And the pronunciation is ought. It's the same as O-T, like in the word not. I'm Canadian. I'm not French. Not bought. Not brought. Not caught. Not thought. So on one side, we have the word not. N-O-T. 3 letters. N-O-T. And then I have words such as brought, bought, taught, thought, caught, which B-R-O-U-G-H-T. B-O-U-G-H-T. 6 letters. 7 letters in the case of brought. 7 letters. And then we have not, which is 3 letters. But the pronunciation, except for the first letter, the pronunciation is the same. It's pronounced like an OT, brought. Okay? Brought. So don't try to pronounce all those letters and think of it as the same. We also have like a pot for cooking. A pot or a hot. It's hot in here. Hace calor. It's hot. Hot. So hot, brought, pot, not, caught, thought, taught, brought, hot, lot, pot, thought, caught, hot, taught. The sound is the same. Ought, 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 ought. Every time. You have to train your brain. You have to teach your brain to forget the Spanish rules and accept the reality that we have in English different ways to pronounce these sounds. They are not sounds that you can't pronounce. These are sounds that you can pronounce and that you do pronounce all the time, but you just have to associate that certain sound with a different combination of letters that you read on the page. Okay? So the pronunciation here is very important, and if you can get this concept, if you can understand this pronunciation concept, let's say, then you can pronounce all these other words perfectly without any problems. Bought, thought, caught, taught, right? All these words because the sound is the same. Okay? So think about that and practice at home reading out loud. What I suggest you do is write down these words. Write down in one column, brought, bought, taught, thought, caught, C-A-U-G-H-T. Okay? Brought, B-R-O-U-G-H-T. Write down words like that, and then on the other side, write down the 3-letter words like hot, not, pot, lot. Okay? And then practice alternating, randomly pronouncing the words until you realize that you're pronouncing the same sound over and over and over and over. Repeating, okay? Repeat. Practice makes perfect. Did you bring your books home with you yesterday? Give me an affirmative answer. Did you bring your books home with you yesterday? Yes, I brought my books home with me yesterday. Did Columbus bring any Native Americans back to Spain? Yes, Columbus brought some Native Americans back to Spain. Did you bring me a gift last week? Yes, I brought you a gift last week. Did you bring anything back for me from your trip? For me, from your trip. Oh, thank you. A t-shirt from China. Thank you, for example. Did you bring anything back for me? Yes, I brought something back for you. Well, thank you very much. Did you bring me home from the airport yesterday? Yes, I brought you home from the airport yesterday. Did you bring work home yesterday? Did you bring work? Did you bring some work home, some tasks, things that you couldn't finish at the office and you had to bring them home? Yes, I brought some work home yesterday. I often bring work home. I prepare a lot of classes and radio shows at home. I bring my work home. In fact, I do most of my work at home. All right, good. So let's move on and take a look at our vocabulary. Vocabulary of the day. All right, it's time now for the vocabulary of the day. Our vocabulary today starts with the word in Spanish, mezcla. Mixture. Mezcla, mixture. So sangria is a mixture of wine and fruits and sugar. And depending on where you get it from, you might have a shot of some kind of alcohol, additional alcohol in there. So, but it's a mixture of many things. Valoración. Appraisal. Very good. Hasta la vista. So long. Valer. This is a good one. This is a super piece of vocabulary. Valer. To be worth. So we say it's worth it. It's worth, or it is worth its cost. So I have a nice watch, but it is worth its cost. It's worth the price. To be worth. Yes. my pen, I have a nice pen as well. My pen is worth €5, I will say. It is worth €5. And I like this pen very much. It's worth a lot to me. It's very valuable to me. It's worth a lot to me because it writes well and I like it. Elegir. To choose. To choose. Choose, choose, choose. All right. Very good. Translation. Yes, it's time for the translation. The translation today, we're going to take a look at list number 3. So in your book, you can turn to list number 3 in the Gimnasia Gramatical, the intermediate translation book. And I'll start here. Sentence number 1, no te gustarán. You won't like them. No, you won't like them. Number 2, no quiero seguir. No quiero seguir. I don't want to continue. I don't want to go on. No quiero seguir. I don't want to continue, or I don't want to go on. Number 3, despídete de ellos. Say goodbye to them. Say goodbye to them. Number 4, estoy esperando que salgan de la sala. I'm waiting for them to leave the room. I'm waiting for them to leave the room. Number 5, mira en ambos sentidos antes de cruzar. Yes, and we say this all the time in English. Look both ways before crossing. Look both ways. Not senses, but ways. Look both ways before crossing. Me gustaría ser famoso. I would like to be famous. Number 7. Siéntate y escúchame un momento. Sit down and listen to me for a moment. For a moment. Very good. ¿Por qué lo hiciste así? Why did you do it that way? Why did you do it that way? Or why did you do it like that? Me dijeron que estabas enfadado. They told me you were angry. ¿Te importa que fume? Do you mind if I smoke? Do you mind if I smoke? No son lo suficientemente altos. They aren't tall enough. Hay demasiada gente aquí. There are too many people here. Very good. We're completely out of time, so I have to end the show right away, but thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. See you soon. Bye-bye.